coming straight up out the struggle, watch the killer state. It's California, homie, where they know to regulate. Red or blue rag, keep the pistol in the waist. North or south, put the blood, shit, they know to spray. And all the Asian homies even know to pack the K. And all the pasajeros know to move the way. And shit gets scandalous, how these bodies dropping every day. And all for pilot money, homie, I know what a shame. But this is just the way it is, so I stay with the gauge. In case they want it, they can get it, we don't hesitate. I know it's strange, on the simple fact you can't relate. The you don't know my pain. I keep it by the G code until my dying day. Cause that's just life up in the hood, out the killer state. It's California, homie, where they know to regulate. It's California, homie, where they know to regulate. I keep it by the G code until my dying day. Cause that's just life up in the hood, out the killer state. It's California, homie, where they know to regulate.
What up, G Life? Now, as we continue the countdown of all Boy Varrios, we actually have to be sliding on through to the section of Orange County. You already know Orange County definitely get, jam-packed full of a bunch of neighborhoods. Some of them being boy neighborhoods, so we're gonna be here for a cool minute because there's several boy neighborhoods just within this area. Now, for starters, we're gonna be starting off with, one of the well-known boy neighborhoods in this area. It doesn't get any more boyish than this, which, for this video, we have to actually be maneuvering our way to the section of Anacrime. Is what they refer to it, but it's actually the area of Anaheim, Anacrime. Now, right here is the area where we're able to find the Varrio Boys gang, VB, or Boys from the Hood. BFTH is the original name of the Varrio. It is how it's known, BFTH, Boys from the Hood. Different from the Boys from the Hood from the San Fernando Valley. This one is older and more larger, and this is their birthplace. But they also use, Varrio Boys, shorter for Boys from the Hood, so Varrio Boys, you see it up sometimes VB or BFTH, like I said. And their Varrio is pretty extensive, bro. Now, you can find them everything from Catella Avenue to Hoster Street, from that to Orangewood. From Orangewood, it still extends all the way to Harbor Boulevard. Harbor Boulevard, their territory still goes all the way to Chapman. And Chapman, their territory to Lewis Street and back around, bro. All the way to Manchester and back around. So everything that's in the middle, which is a gigantic amount of territory, is their dojo, their main domain, where you can find it and where they get it on in Kraken. Like I said, it's a very large neighborhood with hundreds of members. And now the heart of the hood, their main domain, their dojo, where it be cracking, is on Orangewood Avenue. Throughout Orangewood Avenue, to be more exact, where the Bandera Rosa Park's at. That is their park. It's where they hang out, where they do their thing, where they get it on and crack it. So it'll be like Orangewood and Haster Street is where you find them doing their thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, this is a large, well-known barrio that law enforcement has swept them, has hit them with all kinds of shit. These guys made the news. Man, they be on and popping in this area. You know what I mean? Shit be getting real, like I said, and this barrio did start roughly around the mid-'80s when it was established, and continue to still be right there representing for theirs and holding it down for the Varrio Boys, which, how I have said that all Orange County Varrios use like a nickname type of thing, like a mascot name for their barrio. They are known as the Sick Ones. The Sick Ones, Boys from the Hood, holding it down for the Varrio Boys right there and still representing. Now, to find the next barrio on the list, we actually have to be sliding on through to the area of Garden Grove. Garden Grove is the next area where we're able to find this next boys neighborhood. Now, I know that this barrio doesn't get mentioned often enough. People, even try to say it's not a real barrio and wuti wa and all this and that. It is a real neighborhood. I can assure you that. I met people from here. Now, this barrio started roughly around the late 80s, early 90s. Always started off as a small mixed gang because not only did they have Hispanics, in their barrio, but they also had whites and Asians. And they started off as a stoner group, these skateboard, smoke bud, just chill, right here at the park. Now, what park? The Edna Park. The Edna Park is where you were able to find the Edna Park Boys. The Edna Park Boys, EP or EPB or EPBS, was a barrio, a very small barrio, with up to 25 members to them. and their territory was everything that was from Trask Avenue to Fairview Street to 17th, and through the outskirts of the park, and back around. You know what I mean? Throughout, Lewis, throughout Avalon, throughout Edna Drive, all of that is where you were able to find, the Barrio Edna Park Boys, but mostly at the Parque, where they used to chill at. Now, like I said, it was roughly always a small neighborhood. You roughly didn't see them up. As a matter of fact, they said when they first started, they weren't even looking to, gangbang or nothing like that. They were just, the group of the friends that they, the name that they gave themselves, the friends would just do their thing. And then it wasn't until other groups started, trying to press on them, and these guys would defend themselves. And still, they didn't have the idea of like they were a neighborhood until people and police officers started branding them that. So then they just took it and ran with it. You know what I mean? But like I said, it was always a small neighborhood, a mixed gang, with individuals. And now, like I said, since it was roughly a small neighborhood, you roughly don't see them up as much. You could kind of say they're inactive, but you still find a member from here and there representing, or a hit up or something like that. Because now the area is now known for the Evil Kids Barrio. The EK Barrio has now moved into that area, so that's where you can find them now. But yeah, the Edna Park Boys is a real neighborhood that was right there and was established. Now, to find the next barrio, we actually have to maneuver our way back to Anaheim. Where we're able to find the next barrio, which is known as the barrio Citron Street. Now, you're probably wondering, what the hell, Shadow? I thought you said this was an all boys, video. Hold on, I'm gonna get to it, you know what I mean? Now, why Citron Street, CST? Because they are known as the Bad Boys neighborhood, like I have said. That they all have, like a second name, AKA name, for their neighborhood. They're known as the Bad Boys. Not the same as the ones from the San Fernando Valley, two different things, you know what I mean? This is the off-brand name for them, the Bad Boys. The other guys is actual Bad Boys, but they write it the same and stuff like that. But they're two different gangs. Now, this neighborhood is everything that's from Orange Avenue to Gilbert Street all the way to Ball Road all the way back to Brookhurst Street, and back around. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. You know what I mean? But obviously, Citron being their main domain, their dojo, the heart of the hood. This area is awfully, famous for the murals that you see on the walls, the artwork and stuff like that. I know people cruise down the area just to take pictures of that and take a glance of that. You know what I mean? Yes, but this is their heart of the hood. Throughout Stony Brook, throughout Colchester, all of that. Pretty decent size of territory. And this neighborhood, at least from what I was told, is roughly about 80 to 90 members to them. Now, I know you see often the KP neighborhood written with them, the correct players, separate neighborhood, but they seem to have a good relationship and whatnot, between them. But yes, this is another boy neighborhood because they are known as the Bad Boys, you know what I mean? The BBS, you see it tattooed on them, you see it up like that. And obviously, I know people were wondering the last time I had covered this neighborhood because they were like, why is the boys crossed out? The boys obviously being crossed out because they feud with, the boys neighborhood. So since they write boys, that's why they, see it crossed out like that. But yeah, this is another neighborhood that been holding it down right here since the 80s and continue to still represent theirs and continue to put theirs on the map. Now, to find the next barrio on the list, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the area that is known as Washington Square, right here in Santa Ana. Yes, Santa Ana is another home to one of these boys' neighborhood. Like I said, right here in Washington Square, the area that is referred to as Washington Square, is where we're able to find the next boys' neighborhood on the list, which is known as the barrio LTBS or LB or LBS or, but mostly you see it up, LTBS, which translates to Barrio Latin Boys. Now, Barrio Latin Boys is different from Crazy Latin Boys. They're two different neighborhoods, you know what I mean? So they're not the same thing. And I know that there is another Latin Boys neighborhood that is different from that one as well. It's going to be one of these names that you hear often and not right here. But they're all different barrios. But this one being right here in Santa Ana, this is their birthplace where they established, where they, consider it home. And their territory was everything that's from 17th Street all the way to Bristol, and Bristol all the way to Civic Center Drive, and Civic Center Drive all the way to Flower. It's where you were able to find the barrio Latin boys. You know what I'm saying? Now, this was always a small neighborhood, and I know, in that area is jam packed because you have the 17th Street, you have the the 5th Street, you have a bunch of different neighborhoods just jam packed in this area. But this area, even though there's a bunch of different neighborhoods, sharing the area because, like I said, it's so jam packed. This is the area that they called home as well, where they were roaming around. You were able to find them throughout, throughout this area, throughout Washington, throughout 10th, throughout 15. You were able to find them, roaming around throughout Baker Street, all of that, And this was a real neighborhood that did real things, you know what I mean? That's why I put some reports right here, for those non-believers. These individuals were kicking up dust, you know what I mean? They were putting it down. For the Latin boys, this was a neighborhood that was established, at least from what I was told, they were established roughly around the later 80s, early 90s is when this neighborhood was established, right there in the area. They did their thing, homie. They were holding it down. Like I said, you heard a lot of them throughout the 90s, the early 2000s. You were hearing about them doing real things because they were feuding with, KPC. They're feuding with F Troop, who's a lot more larger. You know what I mean? Who that neighborhood in itself is in the thousands. You know what I mean? But yeah, this neighborhood was doing, they were holding their own. You know what I mean? These guys were no suckers. They were able to maintain themselves right there and were representing for them, but like I said, this was always a small neighborhood, at least from what I was told, is that it was roughly around 30 members max, you know what I mean? So they weren't like, oh my God, they're a large neighborhood, but nonetheless, they were a real neighborhood, their main domain, their dojo, you were able to find them was on 10th and Van Ness Street, and also on Lime Street. That is the area, the heart of the hood, their domain, their dojo, and where they were handling it, but since the area, is now jam-packed full of so many neighborhoods and stuff like that, makes recruitment a lot more difficult. But they still have members that hold it down, they still around, despite what individuals want to say, this neighborhood still continues to represent theirs, and there's a real barrio putting it down for the Latin boys right there in Santa Ana. And of course, to find the next neighborhood, we have to slide on through to the area of Santa Ana. Santa Ana is home to one of, if not the largest, boy neighborhoods within this area. Probably, if not the most recognizable boy neighborhoods in this area. This barrio has been here and has called this place home for more than 30 years. This neighborhood has been here since the 1970s that this neighborhood was established. Their neighborhood was established around the area that is known as the Santa Ana Memorial Park. The barrio that makes all bitches rattle. It is, one of the things that they say, because they are known as the ATC barrio, you know what I mean? Alley Tiny Criminals, which is known as the barrio ABR. Barrio ABR translating to Barrio Alley Boys Rifa. Yes, Alley Boys Rifa, a neighborhood right here in Santa Ana. And you're probably wondering, man, Shadow, didn't you already cover Alley Boys neighborhood? No. Yes, there is an Alley Boys neighborhood in West LA, but that Alley Boys barrio is different from this barrio Alley Boys. This barrio Alley Boys started first. This barrio Alley Boys is larger. And this is their birthplace, their home, and where they have been established and continue to be established with hundreds of members to them. One of the more larger neighborhoods within this area, like I said, well recognized, have made in the news several times. They've been hit with everything as well. As a matter of fact, law enforcement has them as one of, if not the most active neighborhood within this side. You know what I mean? Next to F Troop, they said. So... Hey, my boy, that's the report, Tommy. You can't lie with that, man. You know what I mean? I ain't making this up. You may not like it, but it is what it is. The Barrio Alley Boys Rifa's territory is everything that's from Edinger Avenue all the way to Bristol Street. Bristol Street, their territory still extends all the way to Warner Avenue. Warner Avenue, their territory still goes all the way to Main Street back around. You know what I mean? So everything that's in the middle, it's what's considered their barrio. Obviously, the Memorial Park being their home base, their domain, where they hang out, where they get it on and cracking. But you can find them throughout all that area, throughout Flower. You can find them throughout Annahurst, you can find them throughout all of that area, Pomona Street, and throughout St. Andrew's Place, and all of that is, you know, where you're able to find these guys just roaming around doing their thing. Glenwood, all of that, bro. Like I said, hundreds of members, you know. Made the news several times. That's why I even put some reports up here, right here, for those non-believers or the ones that want to say that it ain't true. It's was putting tapatillo on it. I don't gotta put nothing on nothing, bro. You can only spit it how it is. You know what I mean? People may not like it, and like I said, it be getting treacherous in this area because you have so many gangs right here in this area. You know, Los Compadres, United by Crime, the Lowells. You got the, you know, all everybody and their mother be right here. You know. So like I said, it be chaotic. There's no breathing room. So you know that this place be active. You know, this shit ain't no joke over here on this side, you know. And this is a neighborhood that's been well established. You know, they keep it active. They do their thing, my boy. Like I said, they be making all bitches rattle. ABR. And yes, Alley Tiny Criminals is their thing, different from the Alley Tiny Criminals in South Central. This is the phrase that they use, their clique that they're known for, you know, the name that they're known for. Like I said, they all have, you know, secondary names over here. This is theirs, you know, the Alley Tiny Criminals. And also because this is the barrio of the rapper Big Wicked. He's a Chicano rapper who you could check out his music right here on YouTube. You know, is Big Wicked, you know, Alley Boys, and I'm pretty sure it'll pop up. You know, talented in the music, scope, you know, individual in the music, you know, go scope it out. You know, you probably dig it, you know. There's a few tracks of his that I like, that I be bumping, you know what I mean? So go check out his music, you know. This is his barrio, the Alley Boys gang, and still right there holding it down for Santa Ana.
Thank you for watching M.O.D Entertainment. Make sure you like and subscribe.